Hi, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome to Cardinal Rose Tarot. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well out there and happy holiday season. I think this week actually is for the US Thanksgiving week. One of my friends that I went to art school with, who I think is from the Grand Ronde tribe, every time it's Thanksgiving Day in his social media, he always comes on and says, Happy Thankin' Indian Day. So I was appreciated that on his level there. So anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel slightly rattled because I could feel some moon magic interference trying to fuck up my vibe as I was setting this up, which is not unusual, but it's always fails. So other than I got a little bit rattled and all my candles seemed a little wonky in their settings, it's like, so what? Let's just go. So this is just going to be a collective message for entering into this holiday season. What is going to be helpful for us for the holidays to know right now? And we're talking about the Abrahamic holidays, Ramadan, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, solstice. That's my jam, the solstice. But I celebrate Christmas too. So let's just find out what are some messages for us as we're walking into holiday season here. What do we need to know? I'm going to pull some oracle cards first. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to pull 3 of these rose images and then 3 of these other plant-based tree of life kind of images to get us started. What is going to be important for us to know in the collective as we enter the holidays? Holidays can be kind of charged. I'm a talk therapist, and I also like to check in with my clients a lot about this time of year because sometimes people have a lot of trauma around the holidays, right? So if that's you, that's me too. I've got trauma around the holidays in my own life. I hope that my readings over the holiday season will feel like a welcome place for you to be. I struggle with the holidays too. So I like for people to feel welcome here. Like, you're not alone for the holidays. We're together here in this space, and I'll just declare that, right? It can sometimes feel like cold comfort, but I like and find a lot of people's readings and presence on YouTube very comforting. So I hope that my presence can do that for someone too. That's what I hope. So let's see what we've got here for these oracle cards for the tone for this reading. What do we need to know, Spirit? So with these cards, I don't read reversals here. This isn't so I'm going to write these so that they're all upright. Reversal doesn't have meaning in this draw right now. So we've got the rescuer, the jester, and the rebel. We've also got prosperity, ambition, and magic. So this strikes me right off the bat as the family roles. And sometimes in family systems, especially family systems that have addiction, but these roles don't only play out in families that are impacted by addiction. They can play out in other family systems that just have some unhealed trauma, narcissism, manipulative, controlling type family systems can also demonstrate some of these roles. These are like common roles that you may have felt familiar to you when you were growing up in your home and your family, whatever that looks like. There are several of them. The golden child, which is like the child that everybody puts on a pedestal, that is like the hero child of the family, that can do no wrong, that kind of kid. So if you had siblings growing up, you might have been the golden child, or you might have had a sibling that was treated like the golden child, that was like the favorite, and that can sometimes hurt other kids, right? It's another role is the scapegoat, where that's the role that everybody blames everything wrong or stressful or difficult in the family's home life gets sort of blamed on one person, the scapegoat. Then there's the chief enabler, the addict, the jester, the one who cracks the tension by making a lot of jokes and stuff like that. So that's what's coming through here, are these family roles: the rebel, the jester, and the rescuer. So the rescuer would be like the chief enabler, the jester would be the mascot, and the rebel would be someone who rebels and abandons the family system altogether. And I'm thinking in an example that you might know if you follow true crime. Rob Adelson is the oldest brother in his family system. The Adelsons all conspired, except for him. He was not a part of this. But the rest of his family all conspired to murder a man, their in-law, their brother and son-in-law, because it was over child custody issues. Rob Adelson would have been the rebel in that case because he did not go along with his family's toxicity, right? So he rebelled and abandoned his family system and left and rarely participated anymore. So this is what we're being we're being pointed towards in terms of the holidays. There might be competition around a feeling of who's prosperous, who's wealthy in this family, who's made good, who has succeeded, who was the most ambitious, who knew how to play the game of life, right? And then maybe somebody who was a little bit more of a soft touch or a healer or into like spirituality and magic and stuff like that. So this is the theme: family roles, and this is going to be useful to you to keep in mind as you go into the holidays. What are the family roles that I grew up with? Who was the favorite sibling? Who was the enabler of the toxicity in our family system, right? Who was maybe the addicted person or the narcissistic person or the criminal person, right? Who was the person that maybe brought in the unhealed element to our family that then the rest of us revolved around, right? It could be something like that. But these are going to be useful to you to be thinking about as we go into the holidays, because one of my trainers was talking about how, especially with family, you'll know this, when you get around family that you maybe don't see very often and suddenly you feel like you're 15 again, even though everywhere else in your life you feel competent, successful, adult. As soon as you're around this group of people, you feel incompetent, foolish, 15 again, unseen, right? That can happen. And so these kinds of themes will be really helpful for you to look at. Because forewarned and going into it mindfully is forearmed, and it's helpful to know that. You can save yourself a lot of grief by we just had a flyer here and it was the Ace of Swords, so that's clarity. We're looking for clarity in our communication this time of year around the holidays. Clarity is going to be really useful. Clarity through illusion, clarity through addiction here, because with this Ace of Swords card, we have a datura, which is a hallucinogenic plant. And datura, out of the hallucination and the illusion possibly comes the sword of clarity. So this is very much, I'm talking to people who might come from addiction impacted households, and now you're gearing up for the holidays and you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do, right? How am I going to deal this time of year as we go back into this group dynamic with my family or whatever, right? What's going to be helpful to you? What do we have on the horizon? What's some further theme here for us to be considering? This new moon in Scorpio that we just came through last night is very helpful to do this kind of work. And that energy will be present in this reading, whether you catch this reading contemporary to when I do it or whether you're looking at it like a year later. The energy will be present for the reading and fluid and helpful, right? So let's look at these cards. Yeah, there's going to be, the hard communication style or hard dynamics in your family, and the way that you speak to one another and the way that you engage with one another is here, right? There might be a lot of righteousness and discussion, especially because of all of the political climate we're entering as we go into the holidays. There might be room for arguments if not everybody sees things the same way about what makes for a good society, what makes for helpful, healthy communities. If people have a disagreement, these can be coming out over the Thanksgiving table, right? And Thanksgiving is even a controversial holiday if you're thinking about power and abuse of power. And, you know, what thanks did the settlers give the folks that helped them survive that first winter? What thanks did they give them? They didn't give them a lot of thanks, right? So there's a lot of irony around the holiday of Thanksgiving. Irony is being kind, too, to use the word irony. So temperance, healing, and gestures of healing may be part of the discussion. Like, you may be motivated to try to make overtures of, like, I'm going to extend my grandpa an olive branch because I don't want to argue with him over the meal or something like that. It might be you thinking about what are ways that I can de-escalate this so that we can have civil discussion and not get into too much difficult words, hard words, fights, arguing, right? The Knight of Swords is a truth teller. So you might be saying, like, look, I want to be honest about things and the way that I see the world with my family, but I don't want to fight. I don't want the holidays to be horrible. I would like for there to be a healing element to the holidays where we don't just go at each other and fight and re-traumatize each other. I would like for us to be healing as a family system. You're probably on a healing journey. And you're wondering about these gestures and that your family might make and whether you can trust them. And again, with the Seven of Cups here and the Datura card, and we were talking about the roles in the family system, this is very much family system impacted by addiction. And so Seven of Cups, it can, in the reverse especially, can seem like substance use, substance abuse, illusions, drinking, and then when you're, the mean drunk where, Uncle Cameron is such a nice guy, but when he gets drunk, he becomes really mean. And usually a mean drunk, when they're saying all the horrible things they're saying, they really feel that way in the moment that they're saying it. And then the next day, they're often horrified to learn of what their conduct was. It could be something like that we're talking about. You may be feeling like, I'm done enabling. I used to be an enabler. I used to try to rescue Grandpa from the rest of the family criticizing him. And I've realized now through my own healing that I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be an enabler. Or I've realized I don't get the same in return from my family. And so maybe I'm not going to go to all the extremes I would have in past years to try to please everyone. Maybe this year I'm just going to give myself permission to pop in for 30 minutes and then exit stage left because I don't want to give these people any ammo or power or time to hurt me further. I'm just going to make an appearance and do the basics, right? It could be any number of things that you're thinking very seriously about at this point, about how to deal. And it's been a hard job. This has been a long journey for you of trying to heal, trying to communicate and experience your family in a more grounded and healed way. It's been a painful journey that has taken a long time, is what's here at the center, but you've been determined and are determined. You're determined to continue your healing journey. And to be honest, it's a matter of justice for you. It's a matter of right and wrong. You don't want to go along to get along in your family. So this could also be like, let's say, like me, I was raised in a very conservative, racist little community. Not that everybody in the community was racist, but it was almost totally white. The Pacific Northwest was kind of a whites-only region. In Oregon, it was official. It was part of the official state constitution that people of color couldn't own land. It was a way to discourage people, black people particularly, from coming here and buying land. So they made it whites only. Okay, that's sort of a little known history of Oregon and why to this day, this is kind of a white region. It was intentionally whitewashed, okay? And so you might be someone who's like, I'm not going to go have dinner with my white family that buys into these ideas and just keep my mouth shut. I want to challenge my family on these ideas or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It could be anything. I don't like the tax system and I'm a libertarian. So while I'm sitting down with my family, I'm going to be criticizing taxes, even though to them that's crazy talk, right? It's something about justice for you. You don't want to keep your mouth shut. And including your own justice for you personally in your family. You may feel that you have been treated unfairly in the family. It might not even be about politics at all for some of you. It might purely be about the way that your family handled you and dealt with you. Maybe you were abused in your family and everybody gaslit you and didn't believe you and told you that it wasn't true that Uncle Cameron harmed you, right? And then you are now trying to be a truth teller and still have some kind of connection to family. These are horrible things that people go through all over the world every holiday season, right? This is very classic. You might want to let the words fly. Let's go. This is you, Knight of Swords in the cornerstone, right? There might be the devil in you that's like, let's go, let's tangle, let's fight. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having been the enabler in this family. I'm ready to tell the truth. I'm ready to confront. I'm ready to go, right? That's where part of you is. The other part of you is like, maybe I need to just keep the peace and uphold the alcoholic culture in my home by doing what I've always done, by looking the other way, by buying alcohol, even though I don't want to provide alcohol to people who are alcoholic, right? It could be any number of tense issues of planning for holiday gatherings is really coming through strongly. And then where the energy is headed is Five of Wands. So that's what you're worried about. You're worried about just more of the same. More of having it to get together where everybody just competes for love, competes for attention, competes for time, competes for clout. This is a difficult family system where you feel swallowed up. I feel that very strongly. You feel engulfed by it. You're not sure how to plan for and protect yourself in the holidays. This is a really clear message. And I'll just pull some, what are some of your concerns? What are the chief themes that you're concerned for about these upcoming gatherings? I have a feeling that it's your own emotional welfare. You want to protect your own emotions. You might also want to defend your position, whatever position you're taking, whether it's a personal position of, I need to defend myself in this family, or whether it's more of like I want to advocate for my beliefs about society in my family at dinner. I don't know what it could be. What are the main themes for you about this? What are the main themes for you? Yeah, don't cast your pearls before swine. So that's one. Conserving your energy is a theme. Is me trying to convince my loved ones that racism is systemic. It's not just about someone's internal beliefs. It's woven into our systems. You may be surrounded by people that just, you're never going to convince them. And so then it's like, well, is it going to be worth my time to try to convince my family at dinner, or should I just enjoy my meal and go? That's one concern that you're going to be having about the holidays. Sing to clear your throat chakra and lift your spirits. So you might want to be speaking your truth. That's the other thing. But the dilemma is, I want to tell my truth. I want to speak my truth. I want to be a clear communicator for my truth and my version of healing and health and whatnot. But I also don't want to waste my energy if it's all going to go into a void where these people don't hear me. There's another card here, which is anima animus. So it means integrating your inner masculine and feminine. Masculine is very fiery, active, debating type energy, where feminine is more receiving, listening, and so on. These are the themes. You might be being guided to think about, like, where do I want to chime in versus where do I want to pull back and just listen? Okay. And it doesn't have to be world events and politics. It can just be family issues, family decisions, family struggles, family dynamics, right? That could be what's in play. So now that I've got all of the theme thoroughly fleshed out here, let's pull another spread like I've been doing about advice. What's some advice for you now that this is all fleshed out? What is the advice for you about as you go into these gatherings? It's definitely the Oracle cards identified right off the bat that thinking about family roles in an addiction impacted family is going to be very helpful to you ahead of time. It might be that you've never heard of that, and that now that you've caught this reading, you're going to go look that up. Family roles in the alcoholic family. That's all you have to Google, and they'll all come out. The mascot, the golden child, the enabler, they're very useful to learn about. They're very helpful. And again, they apply not just to addiction impacted families, but to other forms of traumatized families can have those roles emerge as well. So now we're just going to be getting some advice cards here. Let's see what it would be some useful advice for you, other than considering those roles and where you fit and how you might examine your own role in the family and what you can do about it if you no longer want to play the role, for example. What else is going to be some good advice to deal with this holiday season? What else? What else is good advice? I'm also going to pull some tiles here just to help you know if this is your reading. What's going to be some good advice for you? I like to do this layout all at once. This is an advice layout that I made up to just do quick, practical advice spreads that involve 3 different decks, but that are still fairly quick and concise, that don't get too complex, that just sort of bring out the brass tacks for you and give you kind of quick and dirty good advice to help you get through it. Good advice for you now that we fleshed that out. And then the Late Norman are the final compliments. Yeah, this is great. This isn't a great advice layout, I can already tell. It's answering with really nice information for you. So this is that competitive energy. This is where the energy is headed. You might be in a very competitive family where people keep up with the Joneses, measure success based only on money, right? Not as worried about joy and inner peace, more focused on outward trappings of success, right? And so these themes are all present for you. And so that's the very heart of things. There's a lot of competition present in your family system. You have a lot of love and respect for your family. You're in this masculine energy. That doesn't mean you have to be a man, but this is a masculine that I'm reading for. You're in an active energy of wanting to be active in solving the strain that you're feeling or the concerns that you're feeling about upcoming family gatherings. And it's because you love your family so much and because you have so much respect for what your family has been through. So you're a real one here. You're a real one. You are not blind to your family's challenges. You still love your family in spite of the fact that they may have caused a lot of harm. And it's because you have understanding of the fact that maybe your family has traumatized itself. So this could be a family that has survived intergenerational trauma, oppression, abuse. And then sometimes when that happens, the family system itself starts carrying that out. And you're someone who's conscious of that. Here, there's a real competitive energy in your family. You are not wanting to compete. You love your family. You're just trying to figure out how can I how can I enjoy my family? That's where you are. That's your thought. I don't want to compete with them. I love them. The challenge is that you do love your family so much, okay? And I really, for what it's worth, I identified, because I'm estranged from a lot of my family, but it was heartbreaking for me to arrive at the estrangement because I fiercely love my family. I feel a lot like you do. I'm proud of my family for what they have survived, everything that they've survived, my siblings especially. I would have taken a bullet for any one of my siblings, no joke. Like, I am ride or die for my family, but it became clear to me at some point that it's just destructive. There's a destructive element in my family that's bigger than me, and I had to pull way back, and it was very heartbreaking. Okay, this is the energy I'm picking up on, is that you are a lover. You're in masculine energy, and you're very connected to your heart. You're super loyal to your family. Family might be everything to you. Okay, you might be somebody that is like, if there's no family, what is there? So this is huge in your life. You may feel very worried about a toxic or a negative outcome about being around them over the holidays, and you're not sure how to protect yourself because you're so open-hearted. You're not sure how to protect your heart. That's what I'm feeling here, and you're worried that things are going to go wrong. The lesson is to sort of wait and watch and not participate. You've had to learn maybe that in order to be with your family, you have to stay out of it. Stay out of the conflict. Try to avoid it. Try not to take sides, whatever. This is the lesson you've learned, is that I need to be more watchful and let go, because I don't want to participate in the fighting, and that's about all I can trust. That's the only thing I've known how to do to stop this cycle for myself, is to stop engaging and to just watch from afar. You might have taken several steps back from your family, and now you're thinking about going again to an event. Maybe you took some time away, and now you're thinking about trying to rejoin the family, and you're not sure. You're feeling unsure. What's your advice? This is so beautiful. This is very beautiful. I might take a picture of this, actually, because this reading is very beautiful. Your advice is to know how beautiful you are. You're this lion, okay? You have done your integration work, because this is a female lion, but you're a masculine energy. This is you being a fully integrated person. You've done your healing work, and it's really shining through here. And the emphasis on this is your realness is rare, okay? You are the real deal. You're a real one. You are legit. You have worked hard. Your heart is in the right place. You're very committed to justice, fairness, love, being grounded, being open-hearted, being generous as a soul, right? The holiday spirit is like flowing through you. This is you. You're very worried about the broken home that you are still dealing with and living with now. It still feels broken to you today. Your advice here is to know that the broken home has not broken you, okay? It didn't break you. It formed you into a diamond. Your realness is so rare that it's shining through here like the sun. You're a fully integrated, beautiful being, no matter what happens. And that's what makes you beautiful. It might pierce your heart to hear this, okay? But you have nothing to fear. Like, your family can't hurt you anymore because of the way that you've healed. This is very beautiful. So let's say you go. You're so healed, you've done so much work that they can't set you back anymore, okay? They're not going to be able to get their barbs in you the way that they have, but it's not even that, because I feel how much you love them. I feel your loyalty to your family coming through this reading, even though you've been hurt by them. It's coming through, shining light, like you, like the sun. You might actually be a Leo, I don't know, but you're very, or a fire sign or something, but you're very regal, and this really captures the hard work you've done to heal. Where things are headed is that there's going to be a dynamic that you are very familiar with. That's what this is saying, that these events are going to play out like they always have. It's helping you prepare that these events are going to feel just like they always have. When you go there, they're going to feel like getting trapped in arguments that don't go anywhere. a lot of talk that is toxic, that doesn't serve any purpose, that's might be like digs at each other, right? This is the toxic family dynamic that you're very worried about. It's saying it's going to be in play. It's going to be in play. And your way to go about coping, if you decide to participate, is just to breathe through it. Detach, get your rest. You're not going to be able to fix it. Okay, that's what it's saying, is that it's still bigger than you. But it's not going to undo the healing that you've done. Okay, you're healed and healing. Maybe your healing work isn't done, but you're not going to have a big setback if you decide to go and participate in your family's holiday gatherings. But it's going to be the same. It's going to be more of the same. It's going to be like a repeat. You're going to be like, oh yeah, this is familiar. I feel all the feelings coming up, just like I talked about at the very beginning. Like, these people can make me feel like this when nobody else can. My family can affect me the way nobody else can get under my skin. That's classic, right? This is saying it's going to be like that. So just know that. Go in with your sort of heart shield up, or whatever you need to do. What are maybe some good tips for how to go in? How can you protect your energy? How can you protect your energy going into the setting? Is there any advice for that? It's saying to shield your energy when you go in. So what are some good methods to shield your energy? Don't waste your energy. Don't try to convince anyone. That was some of the advice you already got. Just hang back. Watch. It's going to be sort of the old dynamic that you don't want to be a part of anymore. It's saying don't engage. Yeah, there's going to be flying monkeys in the family that do the narcissist or the addict's bidding, that may be trying to lecture you about, why don't you come around more? Where have you been? Wow, that's convenient. I thought you were the loyal one, right? Like, there might be some barbs and digs and shit like that. This is the first card to come out, flying monkey in the upright. So they might be, Rob Adelson again was sort of the rebel in his family that didn't go along with the narcissistic vibe anymore. And so he got ostracized. And so there might be people in your family that are going to try to make you feel guilty for showing your face or something, right? There might also be, because we had that magic card that came up in the oracle cards, this might be you. You might be somebody that's, because it's voodoo, but it's in the upright. So you might be somebody that works with magic, like me. You might be a reader. You might be somebody that I don't perform magic on other people. I use magic to advance my own goals for myself, right? Boost my abundance, things like that. That's how I use magic, and to protect myself. They might be afraid of you to some extent or something, or they might not like that you, like, maybe this is a Christian family system and you have more of a pagan belief system, and someone might get in some digs about that, right? Okay, and this is just saying you don't need to debate, you don't need to try to convince them that you're not the devil, and you can just let it go, right? If you want to protect your peace. Yeah, because it's a trap. Because trying to get them trying to get you into a conversation about you need to stop doing what you're doing, or where have you been, and what, it's just a trap. It's going to trap you up. That's what it is. 8 of Swords, bondage again here in duplicate. Just know that there's going to be the old ways that are going to try to trap you up in something, and you're just being advised not to engage, right? It's going to be hard because it's advising you to be unbothered and try to detach with love and be unbothered, but it does still bother you. So you're being prepared, right? You're going to be bothered. If you go, it's going to bother you. So just know that. And that way you can decide, do I want to be bothered, or do I want to not go again? It's up to you, totally. I'm not having skin. This advice layout is not saying one way or the other whether you should go or not. It's because it's going to be different for everyone, right? One more. Yeah, they don't like in this. If for some of you, it's going to be that it's been a difference in faith and belief systems about spirituality, and you may be worried that if you go to your family event and your family is Christian, for example, that they're not going to respect you for your pagan beliefs. I have another example from my own family. I have a nephew. My family is a partying family, okay? I'm from an addiction impacted family, and I'm not a clean and sober person, so I just want to preface that. I'm not an addict, but I'm not sober either. I'm in the middle. I use recreationally, drinking cannabis, right? Like I'm out there doing what a lot of other people do. And my family has a long history of partying and using substances. I have a nephew who is he's very on his own in this place that he's arrived at, which is that he's born again. He found God. He is now a Christian. He doesn't use substances anymore. He doesn't party anymore. He doesn't really drink anymore. He's gotten sober, and he lives far away. And he just came back recently for a wedding, and it's a wedding I didn't get invited to, so there you go. That's a perfect example of this kind of dynamic, right? But he was there, and it was very brief for him. And I'm almost positive, I haven't confirmed this with him, but I'm almost positive that that was his example of this very advice, was like, I haven't been home in a long time. My brother's getting married. I'm not going to miss the wedding, but I'm worried about what it's going to be like to be with my family again, because I'm not in the same place I was however many years ago, and I'm worried about going back into the setting and relapsing or getting caught up in the pain that I've tried to leave behind, right? That was him. I'm speaking, I don't even know if that's true. I'm just speculating. I think it probably is true based on what I know about sobriety and what people have to do when they're from a family that's so impacted by addiction. Mine is 2 overdosing deaths, right? Lots of alcoholism, lots of addiction-based trauma. So I'm just going to pull maybe one final card for you now from Colette Baron Reed for this layout. And then we'll, oh no, I was going to pull tiles too, to maybe see about. So what's another advice card from Colette Baron Reed, and then I'll pull some tiles too. I also just went down, and to use another example, I went down and visited my aunt and uncle in Florida, and they're red state folks. They're more conservative. They're also Christian. They've been going to the Church of Christ since I was little, since I can remember. My uncle's an elder in the church, and he's also a Vietnam Air Force combat veteran. And when I was there, I did a little reading in their home, but I was very aware. I was like, they may think this is demonic or devilish. I don't know. I haven't asked. And so I tried to just do it very briefly and quickly, and they might not have liked that, right? So that's just one example of something like this where we're talking about spirituality. Imagine. So this is advice for you about the situation. Imagine, it's card number 20. You might even be 20. I might be picking that up for someone. You might be in your 20s. Who do you want to be? What do you need to believe in order to have the life you want? You were gifted with the power to imagine. If you can dream it, you can create it. This is the time when your imagination is the key to manifesting the life you desire. Spend time daydreaming, fashioning a vision board to help you see your goals, or meditating. Allow the power of your creativity to deliver images of what feeds your soul. Then allow your feelings to mingle with your inspirations, and imagine these things being real right now. Then repeat. What you imagine will become your belief, and soon you will see these things come to pass in the outer world as if by magic. Oh, and I'm going to read the relationship one too, since we're talking about family relationships. In matters of the heart, it's easy to daydream about another as a means of connecting to that person. While that's romantic, if you want this relationship to be real, you need to go for it, not just dream about it. Now is the time to move beyond the daydream and into reality, beyond illusion and into fruition. Relationships are about relating. So step out onto the dance floor where imagination partners with manifestation. The message of this card is that a person with attributes you have imagined will enter your life. You'll be changed for the better. Imagine that. So there's good things that can come out of the gathering if you decide to go, right? Especially if you do meditative and envisioning exercises, manifestation work beforehand. So you can do things like sitting down and imagining yourself feeling zen, even though your family might be digging at you a little bit. Sitting down and imagining yourself like, they can't hurt me anymore. I can sit through this event and I can even see the good in the event, right? So it means doing things like that. Meditating on how you want to feel if you decide to go to the event. Meditating and imagining your family getting along and doing well. You know, you can't control them, but it's just a way to help you prepare ahead, right? Or if you decide, you know what, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go this year because I know I've been through it. I know what it's coming. I don't need to do it this year. Then you can imagine, what else am I going to do then? What am I going to do since there might be some sadness about not going? How am I going to, what do I want to envision for my holidays going forward now that I'm walking away, right? So that's going to do it for this reading. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please like and subscribe to my channel and come back for more readings. And oh, that's right. God, I keep forgetting I was going to do tiles. Maybe it's not going to be that helpful to do the tiles, and that's why I keep forgetting. But just to see if there's any messages in here that want to come out in addition. Fainting is here. Faints. POTS is coming through. Someone might have POTS here. That's a cardiac or a heart-based condition with blood flow, and it can cause people to pass out and faint. I see BOGO here, so that speaks to me about Black Friday. Which I'm against, right? So, anyways. I have Yogi here, so that was kind of speaking to maybe there might be some religious differences at this. Yogi Bear is coming through also. Ki energy and yogi and yoga. So that's a difference. Like, you might come from a Christian family and you are more, like we just said, gotten more into like Chinese medicine or something, and your family might be against that. You might be in a family of like holy rollers that don't understand that kind of thing, which is interesting though, because sometimes holy rollers are like believe in faith healing and such. So that might be like a point of commonality where you might say, you know, I believe in acupuncture and yoga and Reiki, and your holy roller family might be people that believe in the laying on of hands. And then that's a point of intersection where you can say some of what I believe is like the laying on of hands. And maybe that's a way that there can be an olive branch extended, right? That's coming through channeled for someone. What else? Bow is here. That box. You don't want to be boxed in. Boxing is here. Boxing Day is a holiday, I think, in Great Britain. I don't know what it means, but we're talking about the holidays. Okay is here. Feeling okay. I also saw fat at one point, so you might be dealing with people that body shame you in your family and want to go on and on about being concerned for your health when you know that there's nothing wrong with your body or your health. That might be a thing for some folks out there. Gig economy. So you might be someone that's working in the gig economy and you have rich family that think that you're wasting your life by driving for Uber, and they don't understand why you're not going back to school, right? It could look any number of ways like this, right? Jija is a name. Someone might be born in year of the ox. We also had sing, to clear your throat chakra and lift your spirits. So singing might be something fun that you do with your family, or that you can do to help you keep your spirits up around this. Getting situationship is coming through, even though not all the letters are here. So that might be some of the problem, is that there's a situationship that's making that the family's over involved in. Big, oh God, here we go. Gay, here's gay. So that's going to be in play for people going and seeing family that's Christian and you're gay. Of course, that's a whole layer. Bi is right here. Bi and gay. My God. Okay, so that's in play for some folks. Kuan Yin is here. Kuan Yin. So someone meditates, and that's going to be useful for you to do in order to cope. You already know that, but this is a reminder. Boy, and I think we had girl as well. Oh no, we don't. There's no girl. Quan is a name. Tig is a name. Tigger, we have here Tigger, the tiger, and we've talked about that. Someone likes big cats, I'm feeling. Nag, you might be worried about the people in your family that nag you. Tongue. So we have a lot about speaking and knowing when to hold your tongue, knowing when to speak up. I'm seeing ag here for agriculture. That's going to be in play. Some people are going to be visiting a farm or having discussions about what to do with the farm or with agriculture or with food. FAA is here, so travel and flying is in play, and safety. That might be part of what's going on for someone. Bonk, someone might be into comics. I'm seeing Batman and Robin with that bonk, like where they get into fighting and battles. Bonk, zoink, that kind of stuff. Someone might be an artist. I'm not seeing a ton of names. Gina, and we had Jija, and Gina is here. Fist, I see fist here. For some reason that's making me think of Stands with the Fist from, God, what was that movie? Dances with Wolves. So that's maybe coming through about Thanksgiving, and there might be being conversation about Thanksgiving being kind of a colonizing holiday, right? That was to circle back to that message that came through a minute ago. Onifa, so that I received the hand of Ifa, and that makes me an Onifa of Isheshe or Ifa. That's coming through here. that somebody, and that would make sense if you, like, let's say you were raised in the Black church in the South, and there are influences of African religion even in some of those Southern Baptist Black churches, right? But there's also a large portion of the Black community that believes that like Ifa and Voodoo and everything is, they still believe that it's demonic, right? Even though it has an origin in African religion. So that's going to be in play for some folks here, that you might be speaking to your family. Kentucky just came through. Kentucky, somebody might be in Kentucky talking about these issues. That's the gist. Funny. Boogie is coming through. That might be somebody's nickname. Fina, which means fine. Kex. Kex, that's weird. I don't even know why or where this is coming from, but that was my friend's horse's name. My friend rode dressage growing up, and she had her horse that she brought out from from where she grew up to Olympia when we were going to school together. And her horse's name was Kex. And I don't know why that's coming through here. Maybe because somebody rides dressage in this community or is part of the horse community. And so you're being witnessed for being into horses in some way, or horses are in play here. I don't know. I haven't thought of my friend's dressage career in forever. So that might be for somebody, that somebody is in part of the horsing, like horse community, has a stable or something, right? Kex. Okay, I think that's it for this reading. So if you like my work, like I said, please like and subscribe and come back for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you again for being here. Be good out there. And pretty soon I'll be doing my Gift of the Magi readings, so stay tuned for those. Those are a favorite this time of year. Bye-bye.